Hey everyone, we are back on our first week of December. Today's the 7th. How you been? How you doing? I need a moment. Currently watching the kiddos right now until mom comes back. Keep my ear open for that. So for those who haven't been able to keep up on anything that I've been doing, this month's gonna be just a end of year recap. I want to do an annual thing where I just, we do a check-in. It's a follow-up of what went through the year, what'd you take in, what did I take in, applied, and what to look forward to for the following year. For us now, in this point in time, we are looking forward to 2024. All right, so here we are, episode 17. Man, has it been a ride for me. So before we get we get into all that, let's go ahead and just wild is it's been wild for real. Anyway, so the year, wow, 2023. Holy shit. It was the better of the years, I would like to say, for coming out of COVID. My goodness, where do I begin? I had a really nice job. It was a decent job. It was nice. I'll say it was nice. It was easy for me. I learned everything pretty early on, but there was a shift in the dynamic here at home, and wife wanted to take over. I was perfectly fine with staying home and doing nothing. I'm tired of working. I have no idea what it is, but the idea of working, I despise. The fact that we have to put in all this labor for money, it's like an allowance. That's really what it is. We're getting an allowance for continuing the cycle of economy for America. And it's just crazy. I've mentally, and I want to say spiritually, but I'm not really sure yet, but I know mentally, I'm just at a point where I'm this is why I understand people when people say I have an old soul. I guess, I'm not saying this is everyone that's old, but like I've hit a point in my life where I'm tired. And I've been tired, but I don't know. I don't see the point in putting in efforts like the ones that we're used to, that we call the normal, well, not used to, efforts that we call normal, to gain, to survive. Just basic necessities. I don't see, but again, anything that has a price on it is all material. No matter what it is, it's material. Like anything. Unfortunately, a lot of that stuff is what we need: clothes for the winter, food for ever, water. Not to get off topic here, I'll close it out with my point. Point is that I've hit a point this year more than any other year where it's not that I'm tired of working and I want a better job. Like, I'm tired of working, period, but I know it needs to be done. So I'm not saying I won't work, I'm just tired of it. The point of it, the point and the meaning of success has all but passed us. And the more I hear people talk about their definition of success and just their idea of a successful person, or how they feel like they're successful, and it's all based on material, I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way, but not in a sense that I look down on anyone or I find myself superior. It's just that I don't know. Bottom line is, I don't seek a lot of that anymore. Like, I've never really been the one to be like, oh, I want to travel and see the world, know what it's about. Like, I don't know. I feel like, me personally, I can dream what is of the world, but people actually want to see it firsthand to understand things like that. I don't need that. I have this talk with my wife every now and then, and doesn't really understand, so it kind of upsets her, because she's a traveling type. She wants to get around and see things. She wants to be able to know that it's real. I can see that in pictures and be like, cool. Like, I mean, there's little things I'll be like, oh, that'd be nice to see, but I don't I don't know. I don't seek sightseeing, I guess I should say. Another thing is, you know, getting the nice super fancy cars, clothes, or, you know, getting big homes, a lot of space for no reason. But who's gonna clean the house? Who's gonna dust it? And then you're like, oh, we got maid service. Oh, if you can't take care of your own stuff, you don't deserve to have it. That's just me. But that's just where I'm at. I think I'm becoming very minimalistic, but I like my technology. I like my electronics to a certain point. Like, I won't invest any time in AI. I've not once touched anything AI related, to my knowledge. There's just some things I won't pass. But I think I'm hitting that point. Old soul, I'm here. Old soul. Where I've found the technology that I like, and I'll stick with it. And I say old soul because I remember working for my IT job before I left, and you come to understand that there's a lot of people who still believe and depend on cable boxes. They won't stream. They won't. I mean, they don't have, one, the capacity, two, the desire, three, the will how to understand and learn the knowledge of being able to operate streaming devices or even a smart TV. Now, for a lot of us, we're like, it's easy. You press one, boom, 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 and you're good. To someone else who doesn't know it, that's a chaotic situation. And you can hear it in their voice. They have no desire to want to stream or use a streaming device. They want that cable box because that's what they learned. That's what they've come to understand. They won't go any further than that. Now, I'm not saying I won't push past a lot of electronics. Some of them are cool, but a lot of them, they're just like, does it really? I don't know. I think some things are just like, I mean, that's a cool idea, but did we need that? You know? My parents asked me how to do everything. That's still my dad. Was just at his house. I had him. Okay, so he told me that when he bought his Alexa Dot, they had already programmed it to where all he needed to do was plug it in. I go there and he's telling me this as I'm plugging it up. It's already synced to all his devices. But what I was really over there for was he has this light lamp, or it's like RGB lamp. It's like a rod that has lights. I mean, I had to put it together and then plug it in and then sync it to his other, like his new Echo Dot and then other devices. But that's what I really was over there for. But you know, stuff like that. You know, I've seen a lot of streamers and even people just, you know, being normal. They'll get these RGB lights and string them all through their house. That's a lot of electricity. Even if it's not, I just, you know, I think I don't need the lights. I just don't need the lights. We're starting way earlier now, in my opinion, to where I don't know what's going on with tech currently. I feel like I get that, but to me, a lot of things kind of are all the same. So I feel like I always have this sense of being able to connect one thing to another, and then thus being able to understand it in a sense. But once you understand that things are all kind of similar in operation and in structure, it just kind of comes easy. And, oh, and you're asking the youngins, I can't laugh as if I don't know. I laugh because I know. I guess I understand where I know where my investments want to go. So, you know, since I've started streaming and, you know, with some of the, like, well, yeah, no, because I didn't actually get back to social media until I started streaming. I didn't really care for it. Why'd I stop? Because of everything that you see on social media. If you haven't taken a break since 2017, understand why I stopped. I honestly myself wasn't even the best. I had a lot of toxic posts, and I was doing that thing that we did as youngins, where we would make indirect posts, and I was one of those people. I didn't do a lot of them, but I did use social media as an outlet for my pain and anger. Um, the degree that my posts took, though, from 2017, wow. I went from posting a little to a lot. Comedy kind of went weird, and then I started posting like conspiracy stuff, spiritual stuff, and then when I felt my life taking a sharp turn, I started posting sexual content. And then I was posting NSFW stuff because people would tell me they were checking their social media at work and they had to zip past my post. I started doing this shit on purpose because people were like, yo, I can't look at my phone at work when it comes to your post. Well, there's more where that came from. And I enjoyed every little bit of it until I finally got to the point where I was like, including myself, this has all become very repetitive and very nonsense. And I gave it up. I let it go for a while. I just got tired of seeing myself be what I was despising. Couldn't handle it. Not only with social media, but with a whole bunch of stuff. But all in good turn. I had to learn. I wouldn't say the hard way, and it wasn't easy, but I did learn how to be better. So leading up to all that, all the way up to the first episode where I poured my heart out, I was allowing myself to be the most vulnerable that I have been in ages. Outside of my relationship and close friendships. It had been a while since I had been so vulnerable. So I'm usually, the backbone or the support system, but then for me to be like, I've got some stuff, and then be able to actually say everything I wanted to say without interruption, without misdirection, being misunderstood, or just shut out. It was I enjoyed it. And that's why the first 2 episodes were so heavy. Thanks to Sean's help. I wouldn't say help. Input. It really was help. With the attention it got, it was helpful. But also the vulnerability was helpful as well. I do mean help. So yeah, I do mean help. But in the sense, it was a very hard hitting first couple of episodes, to which we were both like, gotta lighten the mood. But leading up to the first episode was I never thought I would have made it that far. And I know I've said it before. I'll say it again because I can say it and be like, yeah, shit was wild. I was, your boy was out there, man. I was out there. But to be able to see where I'm at now, I'm just like, hey, I'm glad I made it. Now, when history repeats itself, and I'm able to look back from the future to the past, I'm gonna be proud of myself all over again, Next life over. It's all part of the process, though, because, I understand when we go through trials, tribulations, and obstacles like that, that's not only the story for ourselves, but that's the experience that we can share for people who also struggle amongst us. It's not always our own struggle. We went through it, but we're not the only ones who go through it. That's just the way I see it. And it's not every time. There's a lot of times where you're just, you got the short end of the stick, and that's unfortunate. But a lot of times, what you go through will help someone else. in the long run, who is going through what you've already been through. And I feel like that's what it is. You know, you just pass the information down, so it's easier. So like I feel like it's like this. You're just alleviating for that to ever happen again. When you're feeding that information, you're just dissolving the chance that could ever happen to anyone else ever again, because you're increasing the chances of, what's the word? Not resistance. I don't know, but yes. So, you know, we spoke about things like motivation. That was one of the few major topics outside of the first two episodes. Decisions, being an introvert or an extrovert. And just recently, seasonal shifts in your emotions, seasonal affective disorder, also known as SAD, also known as seasonal depression. We've gone through all topics like that. Couple more positive than they were enlightening, but all of them were just ones that I felt, in hindsight, of what I was seeing, experiencing, or wanted to help get some attention on. Wanted to do my part, which there's so much more to talk about, and there's so much more topics to come. I can't wait for the next year to start, because I'm going to start getting a little deeper into my topics, less kind of. I felt like the topics were easy, and I also didn't really do well because I didn't allow myself the best time to research or implement any research that I saw. I was very last minute. I think I'm doing a lot better now because my videos aren't 4 hours long. It sucked having to edit them. And I'm making sure I edit them down way more better. But also, I'm not on here forever. And another mistake I was making is I was trying to aim for my peers. Something else I learned. Don't do that. Because the way you want to think about it is like this. Let's say you take a piece of artwork to work, right? Let's say you take something that you've done or you made or you created. You take it to work or you take it to school. And you sit down with it. How many people are just walking by going, oh, that's nice? That is the exact perception you must have when it comes to what you're doing for social media. They'll go, oh, that's cute. Roll. Oh, that's nice. Walk. Same thing. Hey, what you got going on there? Okay. Go. Only a few people that are your peers will sit down and go, what was the mindset behind it? They'll ask the hard-hitting questions because they really want to know. And then they'll be like, I'm looking forward to seeing more from you. Now let's say you had 100 people walk by. You'll keep 5. When you're looking for your peers think that they're being supportive. But then you have the ones who show support. Through all those topics, I definitely want to make sure that they get better. I really like the ones that I chose, but I'm going to put more time into selecting the topics because now you understand who I am, in a sense, what I'm about. Now we're going to get into what I think about, what I feel strongly about, or get into more of the controversy because I would like more engagement with the socials and the chat when I'm streaming. So a lot of times it's disagreement that brings people together, so we can get some controversies and nothing too heavy, nothing political. Politics or controversy on its own. So another thing that really I really enjoyed was being able to bond with the viewers, and not with just BAFSAF and Sketch and Catch, but also game streaming as well. Again, it's to understand me is like I can acclimate myself into a setting. I'm never necessarily the one who is pursuant with conversation or who is the most outgoing in a group setting. You know, it's almost like you have to talk or acknowledge me, talk to me or acknowledge me if conversations to be had. It may take me some time to like say something to toss in the air for someone to, you know, respond to. I think when I would get no response, a lot of it was just because I didn't project. Yeah, people wouldn't hear me. They'd be like, "Oh wait, did you say something?" It could also be I was probably intimidating them. Like they didn't expect me to be nice. I don't know. Can't really say because the scenario was a little different. But like the people that I've met, people that I frequent, just streaming, really shows me that I'm doing something. Not for just the channel's success, but for myself and for the people that I can talk to. Like I'm making genuine bonds. I'm making stronger bonds with the bonds I've already got, and I think it's just because I can show that side of me that's free, and you know I'm able to say what I want, and I have no restrictions, and I don't feel the need to be disrespectful, but I'm also aware. But you know, I like being able to be understood, and if I'm not understood, at least I'm just accepted. Which don't get me wrong, people have done that for me with my circle of friends before. You know, and people I've met, they've done that for me. But it's just something about yes, you do. Thank you, Sean. It's just something about, you know, people who, you know, find you interesting enough to like stop and say, "Hey, how you been?" And then just sit there and watch you do whatever or say whatever. I don't get a kick out of it in a sense that of like, oh, I've got viewers, I've got followers. It's like I've got people who actually want to hear what I have to say. I got people who actually want to like share themselves. Streaming is so much different, and people think whatever people think, right? It's not all that you think it is. Um, like it's tough. It's tough, and I've had plenty of talks with Sean where I'm just like, dude, I don't know, man, and he's talking me through it, you know. And man, I really appreciate being able to have him for that. And anyone else I've spoken to, but honestly, I really think it's just Sean though, because no one else gets it. And you know what? I told myself to make this a accomplishment, an achievement. Thank you for everyone that's been a part of this so far. I have 30 followers. That's awesome. That's all you guys. I really appreciate it. And I'm very appreciative of it. I have 30 Twitch followers. I've got 18 subscribers on YouTube, which is dope. I didn't actually think that I'd be doing anything else with anyone, but I was approached by Trey, who, you know, Catch and Catch featuring Trey, that he, you know, wanted to learn and understand what it was to stream so he could do it himself. And what an amazing journey that has been, because he was already cool peoples, but we have become much closer bros now than we were before. It was really cool that I was able to get his approach, because I already wanted to put art somehow in how I stream, but I just couldn't figure it out. In this way, like, we're both kind of testing the waters with ourselves. Like, I'm testing how I would do art, you know, once he does his own thing. Well, I mean, like, we'll still be doing our thing, but, you know, like, to know what I can and would like to do outside of him. And then he knows what to do on his own outside of me. But that all happened within, like, what, first 2-3 months? That was also a learning experience, which was actually pretty cool though, because to see all the things that he's made, and then it also helped me get back into drawing and to be more serious and passionate about it. So I can't be more grateful enough for him, and the entire collaboration that we have together. Uh, Another big standout for me this year was getting the Tekken 8 closed test code, DNT. I was overly hyped about it for fucking good reason. That game is phenomenal. The franchise is phenomenal. I am an avid Tekken fan. I'm okay as far as skill goes, but I will love it regardless. Um, I've always wanted to be part of a Tekken tournament, but I've never actually gotten better enough to where I would be comfortable to try. But you never know until you try. So I think this year I'll take the opportunity to, since I'm getting it early with the start of the game, I'm getting it early. I'm gonna throw my hat in one of the little tournaments to see how far I go. That way I can learn some stuff and be better and know how to get into the bigger tournaments where they sponsor. I don't want to do a whole lot for the rest of my life. I really don't. To be honest, I don't. A few things that did stand out to me this year, though. One thing in particular that I realized that I was for everyone, and not just this year, but in like a 10-year span from now back. 10 years back. Actually, not all my life. I know that for me, people have made me their projected reflections. What I mean when I say that is that anything that I wanted to do, people have reflected upon me their experiences with themselves. Let's say I was looking to start streaming, and I've had people say, that's stupid. There's no money in it. Is that something you really want to do? All doubt and very little support. And you know, no matter what it is, I would always try to find the line of support for anyone else doing what they want to do, you know? I'm never really going to expect people to support me like I would support people, but not even a little bit. That's just an example though, you know, that no one's actually really giving me feedback on me streaming for them to be like, is this what you really want to do? Another one. In the face of a challenge, you can either retreat to a safe space or face the obstacles for the experience above all else. If it's challenging, you're doing something right. As we all know, we've heard the many phrases and beliefs that things are only hard if they're meant for you, or however you see it or heard it in any way. But for me personally, anything that has become challenging is something that I should know, something that I should endure. Anything that my soul is telling me to stop doing, I should listen to my gut. As far as everything that I want to pursue, the career choices that I've made, things have been challenging, but nothing's told me to stop. My mind has told me to stop, but not my gut. It's just that I get to a point to where I think I can honestly admit that it's overwhelming, and I put too much pressure on myself to finish, succeed, be, you know, what I already am, and it takes time. I've started things at a later time frame than most people, and I have to learn the process. I have to learn the ins and outs of things, and I feel like I'm just trying to rush it all because I, in a small sense somewhere in the consciousness of me, want people to see that I've done well and am doing well. But really, to be able to tell myself that we made it, but I can't say that I made it if I don't know what making it feels like. So all this is just part of the story that'll let me understand when I've got to that point what made it, what made me make it. I've been able to access the more vulnerable part of myself on a deeper level. Not only that, but I've also been able to express it in a, I want to say, casual manner, being able to just share it. Like I said, I didn't trust a lot of people to know my feelings, and now I can kind of, I'm a little better about opening up. I'm not who I used to be. I'm not who I remember. I'm refined. I say that because I remember before 20 something, you know, I used to be kind of goofy, easy, always giggling, laughing. I had a sense of bubbly to my personality, but more, I think I was just more outgoing. And over time, I just got angry. And I let that anger consume me. But over time, I understood my anger. I understood that who I used to be, who I remember, is not dead, but is no longer. And I'm a more of a refined version of all versions previously. So the anger will always be there because it's more just like a passion for growth. But to see a mistake being made with myself and anyone else, you know, I have to look at it differently, and I have to calm the hell down. But when I think about me being a refined version of who I used to be, I used to, you know, when I say smile and cheesing, I was more outgoing. I mean, I had no idea how to deal with things that weren't easy. Like I have the ability to be understanding faster and to create more resolve. I think I was kind of naive in a sense with my resolve, but now I have a better way of to provide a resolve in a neutral stance rather than a hyper supportive stance. Because, for example, let's say a female friend comes to me crying about a relationship, and you know I'm hyping her up. Oh, you deserve better. No man should be making you cry. You should be treated like a queen. Blah 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 blah. Right? I didn't ask any questions about the whole entire ordeal. Now the angry me would be like, yo, suck it the fuck up. We all get hurt. Find someone else and move on. No one wants to hear that. Refined me will ask questions. Neutral question. Because I want to understand the situation. I'm only getting one side and you're crying to me, but I don't understand why you're crying. So what happened? Who said what? How did this start? Is this the starting point, or is this all stemming from a smaller issue or a bigger issue that got swept under the rug? What part did you play in this entire ordeal? What part did your partner play in this entire ordeal? You understand that there would be things that you could do better. Now, with the situation that you're telling me, if it is the way that you're telling me, I recommend these things. That's how I see a conversation going now. Not overly supportive and naive, not unduly supportive and being a dick, but I'm going to understand the situation so you can understand not only one, if you come to me for investment, I'm going to be invested. But invested enough that doesn't affect me, but also lets you know I'm not there to enable you, but I'm going to help you out. My patience, wit, abilities, and perseverance have been and will be tested. I will continue to seek prosperity. As I was just mentioning earlier, I've had some challenges with music and DJing and streaming. I've had some doubts. I've had doubters. It's all part of the process. It's all entertainment. When people aren't entertained, they've got plenty to say. That's all right. I'll take it. I'll take it because I know if one person's telling me I'm doing bad, someone else is going to tell me I'm doing good. But I don't seek that. Like I essentially want to be happy with what I've published and produced. You know, if I'm happy with it, you couldn't tell me shit because I did that. And then even when I'm hearing, if I just publish it, I'm like, what can I do better for the next one? Very quick. It's almost like I'm unsatisfied. But I tell myself to be satisfied so we can, you know, do it all in the name of learning and growth. Just a few things that stood out to me. Let's see. Being able to watch my kids evolve. That one was a big one because when you have kids and you have to like take care of them. Like if you don't take the little moments that allow the little funny moments to be funny, allow the serious moments to be treated right. It's all about the little moments. I can't really explain it. It's just nothing like being present when you're able to just like sit there and watch your kids evolve like fucking Pokemon. You know, like here they were, and it's really cool to have pictures and how like social media reminds you that like a year ago today, you could be looking at your own 1-year-old and be like, oh, you little shit. And then like on social media will be like, oh, 1 year ago today you posted a picture and it's like your kid's born. And you're like, oh, you turned into this crying fussy ass shit to this whining, terrorizing shit. But you're my little shit. Like it's I didn't realize that my most recent son, we know that he's like 1.5, but like the year just gone. What was it left? Yeah, like just to know that he's walking. He was like, he did everything so fast because he's got older brothers, but like he's now trying to like he'll grab the toothbrush and he brushes his teeth. Our second son, we had to fight him to brush his teeth. Our first son doesn't know how to leave the damn toothpaste alone, but he'll brush his teeth too. It's like seeing them take interest to see what you're doing enough to want to do it too. A lot of times it could be annoying because it's like you have no idea what you're doing and you're messing things up. But then there's those little times where it's like I see my son grab the toothbrush and he's actually putting the bristles to his teeth and he's going back and forth like he sees you do, and then he smiles, but then he goes to suck on the the toothbrush and suck all the water and toothpaste out. Or you know, like I think knowing that you're on your last kid and just to see him like start learning how to like say words a lot more clear, how to form words. My second son, he's starting to say clearer words and he's being potty trained now. He can actually take himself to go pee. It's pooping that we're having the issue with. My first son, beyond his 13-year-old attitude, being a 3-year-old going on 4, quite intelligent himself. I've got a pack of intelligent young boys that I know here soon, when they're all of age of being able to walk and comprehend, I've got to start teaching them how to be men. And it's not crazy to think that because like the whole what was the word? There was always rite of passage. Yeah, the ideology of rite of passage has always been for young kids to like from boy to man, you know, normally within the ages of like 9 to 13. Whenever your father or your people, your community thought it was time, you go through rite of passage and you become a man from a boy. So it's not crazy to think that I have to do that, but I guess for the times that we live in, there's so much more to prepare for. So much more to be aware of. So, and knowing that they're all like they all fight with each other now, but in the house, under normal circumstances, you guys can fight each other. But you leave this house, it's not a fight against each other, it's a fight against the world together. And whoever wishes to stand by your side, you take them in. Whoever wishes to stand against you all, you let them know. It doesn't have to be this way, but you won't stand down. What I need to do, what I told myself to start doing, is writing things down just in case something happens to me before I can get any information to my boys to where they can comprehend. Anything that I've learned that I know is substantial and firm, or I feel like is right and just, immovable, I want to be able to write it down and apply it to them, so if anything does happen to Dad, they can read what I wanted to learn, or what I wanted to teach them, what I wanted them to learn. Key says, nobody really does that anymore. What would you say would be a rite of passage to manhood as a father? In this day and age, yeah, that's a good question. Because normally, like for what we hear now is like doing something on a car, like changing the tire, changing oil, or helping make something, or going fishing. Like that's stuff that now guys do with their sons to like, oh, you're a man now. For me, I have to, that one's tough because I can't even say I think about it because I really don't even know. That's a good one. That is a good one. I'm really trying to think of what I would like that to be. What about you, Keys? What would be your definition of a rite of passage? I feel like, honestly, the best way to say it is being able to allow them to understand they have to take on some type of responsibility. Like that's the best way into it. Because not only are you explaining to them what you believe being a man is, give them the understanding that they can, it doesn't have to be that. Like their idea of what being a man, like give them some many ways that people view what a man actually is. Like let them understand what an open definition is and what your definition is, and they can kind of like understand where to put themselves in that place. Yeah. Follow-up question with that though, I think this would be befitting. Do you believe if you were to be the parent and you're able to, do you believe an allowance is necessary? And do you believe it's necessary with them having to do chores, like help around the house, or do you feel like allowance is necessary with just regardless? Like they deserve a monthly income of your own hard-earned, just because. Because that's fair. I'm not sure though, because I feel like at any early age, especially for black men, you kind of got to grow up fast to make sure you make it home at night. That's true. So I guess it depends on where you're at. And you know what? To say that I guess that would fall upon taking responsibility at home. Because if you think about it in that sense, and not just like black men, but anyone who lives at home and like they have to take care of mom because dad's gone in jail or passed away. The youngest or the oldest son, if the son's the oldest, sometimes it'd be like the daughter, but like the oldest child, especially the son, would have to take over the responsibilities of the house. And depending on how stable the mom is, has to take over whatever responsibilities she can't handle. And that's not to say it only happens to moms. Dads do too. Because some people just aren't fit to do things on their own, so they use their kids. But yeah, I think being able to have a steady responsibility and initiating your responsibility without having to be told to do so. That, I feel like in this day and age, as far as survival, discipline and understanding, knowing you have something to do as your part in the home that you live in, and I shouldn't have to remind you. If you are expecting some kind of compensation for it, you need to do it when it's supposed to be done. I mean, and then of course it's like, oh, hey, come help me fix this car, come help me change this oil, getting your hands dirty, knowing that, is that right though? No, no, that wouldn't be right. I think I'd have to stick with the responsibility part. Allowance. I allow them to live in my house. I allow I allow them to eat up all my food. I allow them to just be kids and enjoy little responsibilities they have. But I'm all for chores because we all live here and share the space. That's fair. I think the way we have to treat it now, because it's all about, because I can't sit here and say that, we're not raising our kids on survival, or raising them to live, but really everyone's got to survive, because you never know what's going to happen to you if you have kids. Like, I never know if anything's going to happen to me and their mom, and it's just them. So we've got to have them understanding what's to come and when they're ready. I think in due time, when your kid shows that they're ready to take on something, or when they're like, hey, I want this and that, you can implement what to do so they can understand the process of it. And not in a sense, like, for instance, like, hey, like, let's say your kid wants some video games and you're like, oh, well, you got to work for it. Okay. They have to understand to do the work in fruition, not to half-ass it, not to ask for help. If that's what they're wanting, they have to understand that it has to be completed, and then also hold the person to it that had offered it. Like, you can't be the parent to be like, all right, go clean your room for a week, I shouldn't have to say anything, and then we'll talk about it. Be the parent who's like, hey, if you do this and I see that you're consistent, we can get it. Because if you're saying, oh, we'll talk about it, that's just allowing your kid to get their hopes up. And then you're just kind of setting them up to understand that people will just use you with with the fantasy that you'll be able to gain something from it. I think that's one thing that we can change as parents, because we've all been through it. Well, most of us have been through it. Most of us have had our parents say that, it's not a discussion. It's either you gonna let me, like, this is a transaction, or you can continue to be my parent and do the parental duties. But I think all kids should understand, when you're old enough to put on your clothes, you should be old enough to put your clothes where they belong. If you're old enough to eat off your plate, you should understand how to dispose of that plate. Put them in the right side of the sink, put them on the counter, and if you can tiptoe and turn the sink on, you can wash your own dish. You can wash dishes. I think that's one thing that people with kids need to understand. Like, start teaching your kids early how to, they're kids, but you're not taking their childhood away if you tell them how to, help you clean their own house. I've already got my kids helping me, because I'll make them clean up their own mess. And they need to understand, it's not my mess that I made. I won't continue to clean your mess. You're going to clean your mess up. And they do it. I call for the name. Hey, come clean your mess. Or, hey, come clean this mess. Because they collectively did it. And they're like, okay. Oldest son would be like, oh, toys are clean. Okay, go to bed. Like, just earlier, I was telling my son to clean his mess, because they'll eat and try to watch TV at the same time, making a mess all over the place. I'm like, I'm not picking this up. You're going to pick it up. Get over and clean it. The allowance part, I feel like the allowance part should be on stuff that they do extra. doing stuff that's common sense is not to be rewarded. I think I can say that. Like, oh, Dad, I put my clothes up this week. Can I get some money? That's what you're supposed to do. Because I'm not going to be the one to continue to pick your clothes up. You know where your clothes belong. That is required of you. Put them up. You're not going to be rewarded for something you should be doing. Now, if you went out of your way to do something extra, oh, you know what? Go ahead. Here's $10. Or you guys have been on your best behavior, not giving me any issues. I'm feeling generous. Here's $10. Something like that. But like making some chores list or some chores wheel, and you be like, oh yeah, no, yeah, I did this and you didn't get my money. You get paid for that, bruh. He says, I would agree with that because my dad would pay me to do extra jobs around the house. Okay, so that would be a good idea. Okay. That's good though. Yeah, that would be good. I'm gonna have to really think about that question though that you asked. Rite of passage from a boy to a man. Because I've got native roots, and I don't even know what Cherokees would do as a rite of passage. But I don't know. I don't need them going like above and beyond to go kill a rabbit or something, you know. Because I'll be honest, my oldest son, I think he's really gotten into knowing the slasher villains. He knows Ghostface. He knows Michael Myers. He knows Jason. He knows Freddy Krueger. He knows Chucky. He would watch YouTube videos any chance he got. He would like sneak past us knowing. Well, not me. I knew. I could hear it. I was paying attention to it, but he would sneak past us knowing that he was watching that stuff, and he'd like sit there. Sometimes he'll wake up early in the morning, turn the TV on, and then go to YouTube, and then because he liked scary stuff, he'd be like, I want to watch scary. And he likes Halloween stuff too. And I don't know what possessed him to get into slasher stuff, but he fucking loves it. And where was I going with this? Oh, yeah, because he likes the idea of knowing what a knife is, so I'm sure if I don't know, because he also likes animals, so I can't say that. I think my second son Azrin, he might be the one to kill an animal, because he likes to try to mess with my chickens. Not for real. I don't know what it was like that changed how I sleep, but whenever I hear something, I don't just like, you know how like when you wake up, when you hear stuff, you be like, that what is that? I don't know if it's y'all, but like for what I understand, normal people, they go that, and then you open your eyes and you're just like kind of looking around. As of recently, whenever I hear the subtlest sound and my conscious is aware of it, I'm just like I'll be like wide-eyed. I'll just like, what is that? What is that? What is it? I'll let my mind process it before I have to like get up, and then I'm like, okay, I know what that is. But no, my second son, he has this thing where he always tries to beat the chickens with the stick or something, or he like tries to poke them with it. I don't know what and why his obsession is with that. But he also picks them up weird. Like he'll pick them up by the neck or something. I laugh. It's not like he did it often. He did it like a few times, but at the other house, we'd have them running around because our fences were a lot taller. Even though they can hop and flap their wings enough to get them above, they wouldn't actually really try it. But like we'd all let them out and congregate with each other, and every now and then he's that second child of me and my wife. So he's that second child where like if you look away and you turn around, he's like, hey, no, stop that. So we turn around, looking at the yard, talking or whatever, and we turn back around. He's got a stick in his hand, or he's playing with the dirt. Turn back around, turn around again. Next thing you know, he's like poking at the chicken or about to swing down on one. I'm like, hey, no. Just drops his head, drops his stick, picks it back up 2 minutes later, doing the same thing. With him, you gotta repeat yourself like 5 times. But yeah, that's the evolution of kids. I had to remember what I was talking about. The evolution of having children is watching them grow up to be a little shit that you were. Or your partner. All of them. All my sons are menaces. Oh my gosh, they get on my fucking nerves. Especially when they don't get their way and they have their own little like belt, screech, or scream to cry. Ugh, I just want to kick them all in the throat. But through all that, that's not an everyday thing and it's not an all day thing. Through all that, they do have their moments where I'm just like, I would be a proud dad, but I'm a man and won't show it. I'm playing. Nah, sometimes they get me to chuckle because I have to be the kind of stern, serious one because there's a lot of things that their mom will laugh at. I'm like, you can't laugh at that in front of them. Because of my kids, and like probably most kids, if you laugh at it and they did it, they'll keep doing it. Don't want that at all. Another reason why 2023 mattered to me is that my drive and or my passion has increased. I'm actually able to put efforts into what I want completed. I can put time into what I want done. Throughout the fall, a little rocky, but you know, I've had excuses. I've made excuses, I should say. Holidays and the wedding and just overall shift in things and from the summer up, well no, from the beginning of the year, especially in the summer, like everything that transpired, I was very proud of myself for. I've completed things this fall, I have, but things I wanted done or needed to catch up on, I'm still behind on. I'm just kind of like, but I know they'll get done. I like I said, I was telling Sean earlier, I pressured myself into a time frame, and because it's not met, I feel like I'm stressing out or overwhelming internally. But it was a time frame I put on myself, so you know, I try to keep up the consistency, so when things actually do get the ball rolling, I have that discipline. But you know, I'm still new to all this stuff, so I know things will get done. I'm late. I'm always late about everything, most things. But I also feel free. I feel more of myself. I know I was saying that I'm a refined version of myself, but not only am I refined, but I'm a refined version of the combined better parts of who I used to be. He says, use the stress as fuel, but don't hurt yourself. Yes, yes. And there's a positive way to do it. So for anyone who's seeing that and is like, how do you do that without hurting yourself? You don't see it as pressure, you know, you just see it as a challenge. If you can turn it into a challenge with the understanding that you have the possibility of completing it, then yeah, that is definitely to ignite the flame or combust it. But yeah, definitely, and it's easy to that's good motivation. Yeah, I don't say it's easy for negative thought. But yeah, no, I was saying that I'm more of a refined version of my former selves, but I feel like also I am a heightened, refined version of the positive aspects of who I used to be. Therefore, I feel like myself. I feel like I'm back to like I've still got some goofy left in me. I have goofiness left in me. I can be goofy sometimes. I can be positive. I can be stern. You know, I can be very fluid with my emotions and my state of mentality, and not be there's no really confusion about it, but I also know when things get to a point of discomfort, I know how to alleviate myself from that discomfort and make it to where I'm like, okay, I'm back on track. I got this. See, I've come to see, experience, and within arm's reach have many outlets and opportunities. Some have fallen off, and to the ones that have fallen off, I still take in a positive light. For instance, there was one that I had that I wanted Sean to be a part of with me because he's been with me since day one, like episode one, and that fell through. Not on my end, but it. I was presented with an offer, and I knew there was one right around the corner that I didn't want. Point being is that I was firm about my stance on where I wanted to be because I knew, hey, I know I've got an opportunity dangling in front of me, but I want it to be the offer, an opportunity that is provided, not a hidden one. I don't want stipulations to retrieve this offer, and that's why it fell through because I was firm about my stance on it. But all in all, I knew if I could get this person's attention, I'm getting people like that person's attention, age-wise, mental-wise. So I'm reaching more than who I think I'm reaching. And I was like, well, that no matter what happens with this situation, I know I'm good to continue for another year. And this is where we're at. I mean, I hit my moments where I have doubts, because that's just me. Like, doubts, they're uncommon. I won't say rare, but they're uncommon. But I know how to kind of get out of them. Sometimes I just need kind of voice it out to really get it out of my system, because sometimes I can kind of like, it's that precursor to the depths, I guess. And one way of keeping myself out of that is to find my safety nets. Being able to talk through those is one of my safety nets. So, and also finding and using my safety nets more. It's not even on my list, but that's one thing. Like, I'm actually implementing the fact that I know I have some things to work through, and in order for me to work through them, I need to use the tools that I've been provided. Like my own emotional and mental workshop. I recommend finding, if you have any issues such as my own, or if they seem to be a little more overwhelming than mine, find any workshops that you can. I say workshops like I go anywhere, but like, it's just what I find best to keep me centered until I found that point where I can get myself out of the tunnel by following the light. And each time I stay a little more closer to the end of the tunnel where the light is, and I don't have to go so deep. But those days will happen, I'm not like completely where I would like to be, but I also know that those days will come, but I know how to pull myself out if that day does come. And a lot easier these days than before. Definitely a lot easier. So like I was saying, I recommend finding any outlets that you have, whether it be people, events, the things that you can do, places that you can go locally, or depending on how severe your situation is. Try to find something that'll really just like keep you centered, find your peace, and then just walk through your steps of however it is you need to pull yourself out of that funk. For me, I have to do it in a timely manner, because if I let that thing go on for too long, it can start to seep on around. And of course, I have kids. I've got a wife. I can't do that. I've got a family, and I've got family outside of family. I can't continue to do that. Plus, I have friends. I can't do that to them. And then, even if I am able to hold it from spilling onto them, it's just taking on myself. And I remember what it was like to try to dig yourself out, and never want to go through that. But like I said, it's easier. It's a lot easier. So yeah, I'm thankful for 2023 bringing me that piece, so to speak. And then just the overall success rate, very positive. Like I said, I'm very thankful for the 30 standing followers on Twitch, the 18 on YouTube, got like what 30 on Facebook right now, and a couple on Twitter. But I mean, it's not even the numbers. I just know if I'm able to make an impact to help someone, that's where the numbers really matter. As far as, I mean, as long as I can stay afloat around here, hey, I can do this for as long as I can. But to know that someone's learning something from my experiences, someone's being able to apply what I've experienced to their life, and it helps to the point to where they can share not only what they learned, but how they applied it, and then how they've added their own to whatever they're going through. Because there's so much going on, and we all should, I won't say need, but we all should be able to help one another. He says community, that's all it's really about. Thank you. And we have, I remember we have this thing, like the like-mindedness about community. But I if anything, if I could ask for anything in the world, I would want the definition of community to be implemented everywhere. Forget money, forget economy, be a community, be the block that has a garden or two that everyone can pick from, be the block that when someone's injured or needs medicine, y'all can put the money up and get that person the medication, get the person the help that they need. Be the block that when you got kids, every kid gets at least one present, so they, you know, it takes the stress off the parents of those kids. Like, be that tight knit of a community, you know. And you know, whatever comes to mind that allows you to be that tight knit of a community, because when you're strong as a community, that makes you strong. It just makes you that much stronger of a unit. So when someone thinks they can come driving down your street with full disrespect, or someone's trying to rob one house, well, they've messed with the entire block. You know, when someone passes away, you know, everyone's kind of like, hey, I can help you get this, I can help you get that. Like, there are so many connections that people have around you that you could use in your life that go wasted because that people will sit on knowing they have connections, but they won't share that they have the connection, because it's all like, oh, it's hearsay. So if you go in and you embarrass yourself, you're embarrassing me also. But I think if we can all be a community and teach each other things that we need to know to survive, that won't be necessary. I mean, because when it comes to survival, it's either you're all alone with who you got, and then, or it's like you do become a community, and it's not always the case where the people that you got will last. It's not always the case that people you got can be fully trusted, and that sucks. Because sometimes you can trust your neighbor better. You can trust your cousin that lives in your home. You can trust your neighbor better. You can trust your own brother or sister. You can trust your neighbor more than you can trust your own mother or father. Your neighbor can be trusted more than your family can trust you. But that's the end goal for what I'm doing. I've spoken about it in the first few episodes and trickled it through all up until now. I do have plans to build such a community in my city, to which I want it to be an infrastructure. No, is that the right word? I don't know. Infrastructure that is implemented throughout the entire world. Like I want that to be, and you know, it's like the thing where it's like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. Yeah, you're all the same thing. Like you all have fries, you all have nuggets. That's fine as long as people can understand. Like, isn't it something to benefit off of as far as a financial gain? This is something to benefit off of knowing that we can help each other as people. I have one long-term goal that I'm sitting on that I will probably take the year to share. I just have to kind of do more research and understand a few things, but there is one long-term goal that I do have when it comes to something such as that, that'll start with helping the needy. The I hate calling them needy, but also helping those in need. Better way of saying it. That helps those in need, whether they're, you know, homeless, carless, jobless. There's gonna be something that I'd like to have as far as provisions for people who are in need. And then that branches off into being other things under the same name. Like, I want there to be a line of cars, like a line of vehicles that can be offered in small price range, but that's a reliable A to B car. And then, you know, there's a reliable truck, there will be a reliable SUV, very affordable, with reliable parts. And there will also be stations in major cities and small cities where the labor will also be reliable as well. Everything will be affordable and reliable, nothing cheap, nothing expensive, nothing cheap as far as the material, nothing cheap as far as the prices. Or sorry, not as far as the like just the overall like put together. Because think about it, everyone could use a basic car. Like when we think about basic, we think about Honda from like the 90s to the 2000s. We think about Toyota from the 90s to 2000. We think about Hyundai from the 90s to 2000s. Reliable, you know, basic, point A to point B, but won't die on you. But I would like a line of vehicles, and they're not going to be the greatest looking. Like if anything, I could probably compare it to how the Tesla sedans look, but they won't look anything like that though. But just something that says I was able to get my point A to point B, because what matters is being able to get to point A to point B, you know? And everyone's able to get one. And I was even thinking like there could be a plan where, like as like a package, this is probably like stretching, like very reaching, but there could also be like a package plan where you could get the car. No. Well, yeah. You get a car and a home. That's another thing I wanted to do. There was I wanted to like, this is me thinking I'm gonna have, I want the success to be able to do this, right? Buying out cul-de-sacs, buying out where old houses are, run down, you know, like buying out streets, blocks, tearing all the houses down, having them all redone, just restructuring the entire community. Things need to look better, they need to be better, they need more sufficient parts, they need just like walls, like everything just needs to be turned around, like revitalize the community, and make them low-income homes. Because if you can change how the community looks, change how it operates, so like you can say that there's a ghetto, but if you change how it looks, people won't call it the ghetto, because you only know it's a ghetto because how it looks. But some ghetto ass people who are rich and you know, you can't really define the term ghetto because you only perceive it as the environment that you're in. Ghetto to me has a broad terminology, but I mean, it's not that I'd be the first one. Like I see my city doing it. Like they're building new houses or new homes in certain areas, and it looks a lot better than what I remember it to be. But I think we could do better. We could pick up the pace, because no matter who did what in their life, people always need a second chance. Even when people who've done hard crime, like there's an understanding that needs to be had about why they did it, instead of just writing them off as a complete criminal. Even the ones that we call crazy and checked out, we don't know the depths of the brain, let alone knowing the depths of the oceans, of the waters, and on the planet, or even the stretches of the galaxy. And we can't just sit on labels. I understand I might sound crazy, but I'm not defending the actions of what people did, but we can definitely try to understand why they did it. But we gotta have that time. Like, we have all this technology to put in our hands, to put in our homes, but we don't have the technology to understand how the mind works, how the frequencies and the thought process of impulse. All in, like, I have a lot of ideas, some to which I could probably just pitch and get something in return of it, but I have a lot of ideas that are just, my thing is that I have a lot of ideas, but some people are just going to buy it and turn it into something of their own, and like by the time I see that idea into fruition, it'll be completely unrecognizable. And there will be some kind of clause that they bought it and I can't try to reproduce it and blah 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 blah. But the shitty part is that all these ideas require money, resources, connections, and being able to trust people to actually go, hey, this is a good idea, let's do all of it, or let's do it this way, instead of saying, hey, here's a little bit of money, and then just flip it and then be like, oh, we'll put our name on it. Like, I would like something far more structured for the people in need. I still want to do the combined efforts and idea provided to me by another friend of mine, where we create like an epicenter, like a headquarters for the entertainment business here in the Midwest. Like a what do they call it? Like a record label studio or something like that, And it'd go beyond just like record, like music. Like, we'll, teach classes, teach instruments and everything, and even have a venue for up and coming artists to perform at, have new artist concerts all the time. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that I'd like for people, but need the money. I need the resources, the connection. I need people to trust that there's something to work with. Some people will look at an idea and go, I'm only going to see a return for 5 years, and it's like, find a way to make it 10. Believe in me. If you see 5, make it 10. But yeah, that's why 2023 was so important to me. All that jazz. Keys, while I have you, was there anything that you would like to share? Like an end of year recap? How did the year go for you? Why was 2023 so important? Is there anything different or new that you're expecting in 2024, other than that baby you have on the way? And then just overall, what'd you like about 2023? He says this year has been rough, not gonna lie, but I'm not sure what I'm expecting out of 2024. Just open to all opportunities. Also, who said I have a baby on the way? Nobody. I just wanted to slip that one in to catch you off guard. Also made you want to think about the partners you've had all year. Like, do I? Do I? That one was for me. Not until I'm married. That's a good goal. That's a good goal. Keep it wrapped up, player. Well, I'm sorry I'm sorry to hear that you had a rough 2023. I very much hope that 2024 is much better. But it seems like, I don't know, being able to get to know you through this, I feel like I've seen some growth. I feel like, and like just talking to you, I understand like we're like very matched with intelligence, wisdom, and ideology, and I feel like there's a lot of promise for you next year. I feel like I can confidently say that. Like there's a lot, and when I say a lot, it could be big or little, but I feel like there's a lot of promise for you next year. So I hope that we can continue this ride, so we can keep each other updated on what's going on. Because I feel like if you stay on the focused path, which I know you know what it means to be focused, like your gut, your soul, your spirit talking to you, I feel like you'll do great. Things will turn around for you come February. February? February. I've never been able to say it the right way. February. Really be like that sometimes. I appreciate the compliments. I'll take both. I'm trying to get focused. Me too, man. Me too. I'm trying to get back on track. But that's all it takes, man. As long as you know that you're putting in the effort, try a little harder each day. You know, turn a day into every few hours, turn an hour, few hours to an hour, turn 1 hour to 30 minutes. Next thing you know, back on track, man. It's just one step at a time, baby steps. Now, I got one more challenge for you. Try to say the word February. I had no idea. I'm lying. I knew it was spelled like this, but to actually try to say it how it's spelled, February. Who says it like this? I've never heard anyone say February. I've always heard February. Right? February. February. Such a weird. Now I'm saying it. Like, you know, you ever have that thing happen where you say a word too many times it sounds weird? February. 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 Fucking dumb month anyway. All right, we're hitting that 9:30 mark. It was great having everyone here. For all those who stopped in, for all those who started watching, I appreciate you showing up and tuning in to everything me. But then also you. Very good turnout. I didn't. Very good. Very good turnout. I didn't fall asleep, and for the most part, I was focused, minus the distractions. Okay. But it was very nice to be able to do a recap of most things that kind of stood out to me this year. Also, great to see what stood out to my fellow peers. All in all, again, this was a pretty good year for me. In the long run, I had my downs, I've had my mids, and I've had my ups, but overall, I think it was pretty good. I mean, I had a little wedding gig, thanks to my sister and then her husband Josh. Got to put out some music. I got to create music with you guys. I got to stream. I started streaming, and it's pretty successful so far. So shooting for that 50, so I can become an affiliate, and then we can start talking some seriousness. But it's all work in progress. All work in progress. But what time is, man? Keys, thanks for stopping in, giving me your time. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you around 2 weeks. Sean, as always, thanks for stopping by. Be seeing you this weekend. He says, be a blessing and stay blessed. Catch you later. And then off of that, yeah, everyone, thank you so much. You guys stay safe this weekend. I'm gonna hit the meat and let me get the hell off here. Damn chair. All right, y'all. I'm gonna see y'all later.